Good morning, students. We are in continuation of our lecture on elements of banking, BFN 202. Today we are going to look at financial deregulation and reforms. Prior now, we have shown us what is the difference between regulation and deregulation. If you can still remember, we spoke about regulation. That's a financial system in which the government regulates what's going on in the economy, in charge of interest rates, in charge of money supply, and in charge of other macroeconomic variables. But by the time all these macroeconomic variables are left for the market forces to determine them, we are saying our economy has been deregulated. Or in other words, we are saying we have what we call financial deregulation. Financial deregulation is a form of reform. And what do we mean by reform? Which means there has been a form of economics we've been running before, economic parameters we've been running before. Now we are moving towards having an economy where market forces are the determinants of most of our variables, okay, economic variables. And those are the things we want to look at in this today. Right now, like we have said, most of the economic parameter indicators are often regulated. How do we mean? That is the government of the day that will say, this is the interest rate you are going to charge, this is how much that's supposed to be the money supply in the economy. But by the time you allow the market forces to take over, we're in the realm of deregulation. If you can still remember, last week we were able to say that before the regulation, it is the central bank, that is the regulator of the economy, that will tell banks, this is how much you are going to charge for this is how much you are going to charge for interest on loan, this is how much you are going to charge for interest on savings. But by the time you allow the market forces to determine the pricing of this money, then we are in the realm of deregulation. So we want to see, what do we mean by financial deregulations? What are the conditions that are available for financial regulations? What are the benefits you're able to have from financial regulations? By the time you are moving from where you are regulating before and you are moving to the realm of the regulation, we are talking about reforms. Reform means changes. We have been in one, the way we have been running our economy before, now we are moving. And that's why we're able to say, reform. So financial deregulation is a reform. We are moving from an era where we are regulating our macroeconomic variables to where we are allowing macroeconomic variables to be determined by the market forces, the forces of demand and supply. So today we are going to look at what are the conditions, what are the things we are more likely for you to have the effectiveness of financial deregulation. There are some certain conditions we are going to look at, and those are the things we want to consider in this lecture. By looking at financial deregulation, I think we talked about regulation the other time. We are moving to deregulation now. When we are talking about deregulation, we are allowing the market forces to determine the pricing of our money. So today, that's what we are going to look at. And today, we are going to look at the financial deregulation and reform. Like I said, when you are moving from one realm of economic activity, while you are going to another realm, we always call it reform. And that's why today we are going to look at financial deregulation, a form of reform. And then for you to have effectiveness of financial reform, like we spoke about last week, by the time we are talking about the economy being deregulated, or financial delays in the nation being deregulated, we are saying all these are financial delays, all these our financial indices is being allowed to be determined by market forces. That is the forces of demand and supply. That is the main quantum of when we are talking about deregulation. So today we want to look at, for you to have an effective financial deregulation and financial reform, there are some certain conditions that need to be considered. And those are the things, among other conditions, I need to quickly say that for those ones that are within the ambit of the financial system, those are the things we are going to look at today. So the first one we are going to look at for us to have a desired financial environment of bank freedom and regulation, the following among others should be noted. Number one, reducing fiscal deficit and financing them appropriately. What do we mean by deficit? Most of the time, fiscal deficits. Almost every year, government always come out with their budget for the year, and quite often, the amount to be spent are usually more than the amount that is coming in form of our income. The moment we are having that kind of a scenario, we are saying we are having a fiscal deficit. You know, the last time we talked about fiscal budget, that is when what you are coming in for you as a form of income is more than what you are spending. But in this area, we are going to have what we are spending more than what we are coming in. Economic theory has said that if you want the economy to have accelerated growth, you don't need to tie down. There is tendency for you to even spend more than what is coming in for you, because there are some expenditure you need to make now for you to have the benefit in the future. And you cannot say because you are not having money, you want to keep them on hold. Go ahead, spend more than what you are receiving, but make sure you are spending them within a quantum, like has been set up by the World Bank. So for you to have effective financial reforms, you must reduce your fiscal deficits. Like I said, you don't need to type up your funds, but you have to reduce it. It is not going to be on a yearly basis. What you are spending is always more than what you are receiving. You can attempt to reduce them, because one way or the other, we don't want you to be extravagant in your expenses, and at the same time, we don't want you to be frugal. So you must reduce your fiscal deficit and make sure that the way you finance your deficit, you finance them appropriately. Be very careful. You are not financing them that's going to tend to inflation in the long run, because everyone knows inflation is not good for the economy. Although moderate inflation is good, but whenever you have a large information, it's not good for the economy. So you must reduce your fiscal deficit. You should know that as an individual, you can be spending more than what you have, but you should not be making it to be part and parcel of you, so that you are not going to go as sorrowing, because it said those who are borrowing go as sorrowing. So you must finance them very, very well, and that's a major prerequisite that need to be introduced, so that you will be able to eventually have financial freedom. Because if you are on the basis of spending more than what you are getting, it's going to get to a point that you might not even be able to pay back as an individual. You have to be conscious of that. So as a nation, you have to be conscious of that too. In as much as we want the economy to grow, we should not be able to do it at the expense of spending almost all the time more than what they are. Some people, like some of you must have said, you must have seen that even Americans most of the time spend more than what they are coming in. But don't forget, US dollars is the reserve currency of all over the world. So there is no way to be able to compare America, that their currency is the reserve currency for having our reserves. You cannot be able to compare them with Nigeria. So we must find a way of reducing our fiscal deficit. As an individual, this month you can spend more than what you are having, than receiving an income, but you have to be very careful. It's not part and parcel of you, so that I'm able to have a kind of constraint. Then you must give market forces more influence over interest rates. Interest rate is usually the price for money. It's the price for money. So you must be able to allow market forces, because interest rate will encourage people to stay with you, to give their money to you, so that that's the money you eventually need for giving loans and advances. That's going to be a form of reflation for the economy. But at the same time, market forces, you know, we are in the realm of financial deregulation. That is the realm where we allow market forces to determine the pricing for assets, loan and advances, almost everything. We allow market forces, the forces of demand and supply. So you must allow market forces to take influence over your interest rate, just as you want people to be encouraged to save money with you, because it is their money you are spending. You know, in your elements of banking, you'll be able to know that banks don't have the money of their own. It is the deposit people bring, that's what they spend. And in allowing or encouraging people to bring this money, they charge them interest rate. Interest rate is the price for the bank, whereas it is an income for those people who are making use of that money. So You must be able to allow market forces to determine what is going to be your interest rate. Eventually, you have to reduce direct lending programs. So we know that the economy of the world is evolving. The economy of the world is evolving. How do I mean? Before, we're an economy that is a money economy. Everything you want to buy, you buy it by cash. But we are changing towards an economy now that things that we have credit cards, we have ATM, we have a lot of innovation, electronic transfers. In essence, we'll be able to be very careful that we'll be able to have financial markets that are sophisticated. Financial markets are in existence so that we'll be able to aggregate within income and spending. Financial markets exist in an economy so that those who have surplus more than what they need, they'll be able to find a way of spending that surplus. And for those who have less than what they require, they're able to have a menu where they are going to go. So, in essence, that's why we are saying reduce direct credit programs. That is one of the things you have to do if you want to have effectiveness in our financial reform. Okay. Again, we have to consider our reform in the legal and accounting system. Very, very important. So that we'll be able to be in line with the modern financial practice. The modern financial practice now, International Financial Reporting Standard, FRS. So we must be able to make sure that we are within that ambit, we are current with the way accounting is being handled in the country. The second one is there should be restructuring and developing our non-banking financial institutions, and that is very, very essential. Because our economy, the way we see this, is like a form of a cash economy. But we must be able to develop a form of an economy in which we are going to have a reduction in our tendency to be having money, to be having cash all the time. In essence, there should be development in our non-banking financial institutions. Our insurance companies, they are essential. As in the developing countries, we must be able to move towards a more sophisticated financial system. Then we must be able to ensure stability and discourage fraud. And that means there should be appropriate regulation and supervision of our financial institutions in form of their capital adequacy requirement, in form of their lending levies, in form of our institutional liquidity, and the supervisory authority in the nation, which is CBN, should be able to be up and doing on their duty. In essence, we are trying to say for us to have an effective financial deregulation and reforms, all these areas needed to be handled. By then, you'll be able to have the benefit of having financial deregulation. Thank you.